you want to hang out with me? Come on. Going up? Yeah, Schwitz. Are you just gonna sit there and judge me? No. Okay. She saw something that caught her attention, and it was not me, which is fine. Not a big deal. But personally, I think I'm live. I am live.
Oh, neat.
Neat. Just a fair warning in case you wanted to, I don't know, say something funny.
Naked.
You're not naked, though. Okay. Anyway. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Cocktail Hour, the show where I wait around for my co-host to show up. And if he does, great. And if he doesn't, also great. We get an hour of Weebo ramblings either way. Tonight I am drinking lavender chamomile tea because I'm still not. I'm on like the first full week of this. No! I forgot to take the picture this morning. Fuck. Okay, that's fine. Anyway, so I'll explain why I'm freaking out. It's not a super mega freak out, but I'll explain. So I just completed the first weigh-in of the first day of, or the first weigh-in of the first week of my 6-week challenge. I am down a couple pounds, which is the goal. We want to approach a less obese number. I'm not obese. Overweight is the better way to phrase that. And most of that is in my titties. Anyway, so because we're doing this challenge, it's partially accountability focused as well. So I have to take a picture of myself while I'm at the kickboxing studio and post it to the specific 6-week challenge kickboxing thing. No joys of sorrow. I'm just explaining why I'm not drinking alcohol for the next 6 weeks. And so what is now Cocktail Hour will essentially be tea time with Weebo and Polly for the next 5 weeks now at this point. Because, like I said, I just finished the first week. But part of the challenge is to hold yourself accountable. And part of that is posting evidence that you actually went to the gym and what your groceries are, essentially. It's not really, it's not so much a diet as it is a challenge in service of me getting to a healthier weight. Anyway, it's a bit of a struggle. So that's why I'm drinking lavender chamomile tea. In case you're wondering, in case you're asking, later on, someone can tell that person, if that person is curious, that is what is going on. There we go. A mocktail hour, if you will. Yes, Peter Hudd, very good. Yes, I will be a tea channel for the next 6 weeks. Ooh, I could do something with this. I really could. I could make a whole video mocking the tea channels. Race Jacobson asked me what my goal weight is. So the absolute, the threshold is 136, because that'll get me where I want to be in terms of on the BMI chart. But ideally, I'd like to go back down to 125, because that was what I was at in high school. Joys of Sorrow asks, wait, are you also ditching coffee and soda? No, I can still drink coffee, but I'm not drinking soda. So I haven't really been drinking soda anyway for the last year or so, only on very special occasions, because I kind of see it as a waste, and also it's a lot cheaper if I don't buy a whole bunch of soda. So it's just, you know what I found? As an adult person making adult decisions about what it is that I put into my body and what it is that I purchase, I have found that it's cheaper to buy healthier things to put into your body in the long term. I can buy a 6-pack of red peppers for really cheap, and they will last me 4 to 5 days worth of dinner meals. It's nuts. Your boy Pat says check your Streamlabs Okay, so I see one here from the next 6 minutes from 2 hours ago. My project will be done this Thursday. The final version of your segment will be included. I will link you to it as soon as it's up. It was more fun than I could have imagined. Thanks again and take care. Sub to Weebo and buy her merch, y'all. Excellent. I'm excited. Everyone go sub the next 6 minutes because we did like a collaborative effort where he took a piece of me saying shenanigans from an earlier video that I've done and put it to essentially radio host speak. So I've heard it. I think it sounds hilarious, and you should go check out his channel. The next 6 minutes on YouTube. And then we have, thank you for the donation from your boy Pat. You didn't have to do this, but to my good friend Weebo, thank you for helping me with that intro. It's truly going to make my comedy special pop when you see it. I can't wait to see it. Yes, another collab that I did, kind of. I did the intro for your boy Pat's comedy special thing that he's coming out with. Go sub to your boy Pat. He's in the chat. And that rhymed. Definitely go check that out. It's going to be a hoot and a half, a holla, and a dollar. I think I delivered Pat unto the audience quite spectacularly, if I do so say myself. Words, what are they? And then finally from Lion Patriot, thank you for the donation. Little sister, get some help with your cleaning addiction, or at least make some money off it. You know, okay, that's gonna like catapult me to a whole completely different topic of conversation. So before we talk about that, I just want to acknowledge the chat. Hello, chat. Your boy Pat IC, Joys of Sorrow, Race Jacobson. Who else we got? Old Man Enfield. Have you tried microwaved tea? I'm more of a fan of the old kettle on the stove. For whatever reason, it keeps longer. It keeps the heat longer. I like that. But I will throw it in the microwave after it's gotten cold, because it does. Because I don't ever drink it very quickly. I'm not a quick drinker. Unless it's alcohol, in which case I'm a very fast drinker after like my third glass of wine. It just kind of starts to just become water. Even water, I'm not super good about ingesting that within an expedient time frame. My nutritionist says that I should probably front load all of the water that I'm supposed to drink, which is like 80 ounces, I believe. Yes, 80 ounces. Because it's supposed to be like roughly half your weight in ounces. Yeah. So there's that. Wandering Lisa, hello, how are you? And W.R. Costin, good evening. How art you? Microwave tea hurts my brain. Well, I'm not going to throw it back into the kettle once it's already steeped. I can't. I like the tea when you freshly poured it and it's gotten to that ideal temperature where you can just sip on it and enjoy the aroma and the flavors from the tea. That's all I'm going to say about that. Anyway, back to Lion Patriot and what it was that he was talking about in the Streamlabs. I feel compelled to explain myself. So it all started. Super exciting segue into the tweet from yesterday, which is basically, today I was going to only clean the kitchen and the litter boxes, and then it became a deep clean of the whole house, and I don't know how that happened. Yeah. I may or may not have deep cleaned my whole house, except the game room and the bathroom, because those are all boyfriendos. But I deep cleaned the kitchen. I didn't just deep clean the kitchen. I selected one aspect of the kitchen to just absolutely smother in soap and water, and that was the sink window, because it's nasty and gross and full of dirt, and I went ham on it. It took me 2 hours to clean that bitch, but I did it, and I'm very happy with the turnout of that. And then I thought to myself, I need to pull up all the tile in this room. I didn't, but I really want to. I really, really wanted to. I'm like the type of person that if I get in the mood to clean a thing, I'm gonna clean it and it's gonna look perfect. And if it looks and if I get distracted by something else that needs to get cleaned, I will. So I was gonna clean the kitchen anyway. So I cleaned the kitchen, and then I did the litter boxes, and then there was litter on the floor. So I grabbed the vacuum and I vacuumed, and it turned into me vacuuming the whole house and lifting things up and rearranging furniture and getting rid of all of the cluttery things that were in the kitchen and in the living room that I didn't want to see anymore. And so it just, like, I got my Halloween decorations put away. It was a whole bunch of shenanigans. I'm happy with it, though. The house looks nicer than it did, minus the gaming room and the bathroom. Gaming room has been vacuumed since yesterday. I did not do that, but it is still a little bit more cluttered than I'd like it to be. You can't see it, but there is a TV sitting out over there, and the trash is just kind of willy-nilly right there as well. And I have a photo album project sitting right there that I need to finish off. It's got a boyfriendo and mine's 2021 shenanigans in there, because I've been documenting. We've been dating for 7 years, almost 7 years. So I've been documenting our relationship and saving like all of the ticket stubs and everything from all of the dates that we've been on, or the times we traveled to see each other, or the pictures that we've taken while we're doing something special with each other. So I've been saving all of those. And so all up until 2020 December, they're in there. I just need to finish off 2021, and I'll probably, hopefully, get to that point at some point. Drizzle Sorrow, wait, is this your house or rented? Okay, complicated, because technically it's not a house. It's an apartment. But I am very close to the owner, to the point where if I do any remodeling, he'd thank me for it and write it off the rent. So. Oh, perfect temperature. No honey in there, too. I've been trying to use less honey in things like teas, because that defeats the purpose of the tea, which is to hydrate me. Well, not really, but it defeats the purpose of being healthier. I would normally put like honey and lemon in there, but it's already lavender chamomile, so it tastes good. It's fine. Weebo, it's fine. But yeah, I ended up deep cleaning the whole house, and I feel really good about it. But now I kind of want to remodel the whole, I say house, it's an apartment, but now I kind of want to remodel some of the things in this apartment, because it's not been touched since at least the 70s. It was built back, I think, in the 50s. I wish I still had the picture. I don't have the picture, but I took a picture earlier of, so we have linoleum tile in the kitchen, and there's one piece of tile that's very easy to just kind of pop up and see underneath, and underneath that linoleum tile is more linoleum tile. There is floor beneath my floor. Anyway, if I could just rip it all up and replace it with like some vinyl mock wooden floorboards, that'd be great. The snappable ones, the ones that you snap in and then you leave them, and that's it. That'd be great. They're cheaper and they're scratch resistant, and I think that it would do a number in terms of upping the value of the property for my landlord. I think he would appreciate it, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Lion Patriot says my linoleum floor is beautiful. Well, not the floor underneath the floor. It's all grimy and nasty. It looks kind of like yellow marble. Like piss yellow marble. It's gross. We do not stand. Race Jacobson asks if there is a ceiling above my ceiling, and in fact there is, because this is an apartment complex and we're on the first floor. Put shag carpeting in the kitchen and the bathrooms. That would not work. But I wouldn't mind it in the rest of the household. Right now we have this brown colored carpet. Actually, the only carpeting in the entire building is all on the first floor. So right now we have this brown carpeting. It's really soft. I like it for the fact that it is soft, but it's probably super gross too. Like I said, this place has not been upgraded since the 70s at least, and it was built in the 50s. It needs some work. It needs a little bit of work. But am I the one to do it? I don't know. If we're going to be here for another 2 years, might as well while we're here. Plus, you get to write it off your rent, so why the fuck not? It would be fun, and I could film it, all of the renovations that I do. But I don't know. I need to get to a place in life where I am more sustainable with the content that I'm making and the time that I have and less stressed out. So we're going to table that idea, hopefully. Reject modernity. Return to stone flooring. Dude. Okay, my ideal house. My ideal house has like cobblestone cemented in flooring throughout the household with like animal reindeer pelt carpet, like area rugs, and exposed dark wood rafters with high curved white ceilings. It's really unique, I think. I have a very specific idea of what it is that I want in a house, but I don't think that it would be good for a Midwestern climate. Probably. Lion Patriot says something about mosaic tiles. Now that would be interesting. Do you know how hard it is to lay a mosaic? I don't. I'm assuming that it's painstaking and rough, but I don't know. I don't know if Addams Family energy would be the way I would be veering towards. No, it's more like Spanish villa energy, Latin America villa energy, Italian villa energy, almost, kind of, a little bit like that. Not like dark Gothic castle, if that makes sense. There are some interesting houses out there that I've seen that I would love to just kind of take part in the construction of. Not maybe live there, but get an idea of how people would do that, how people would produce that kind of thing. There are some interesting construction styles. Like, for instance, okay, so there was this couple. I once saw a video. They used recycled bottles to create a kind of window effect in their clay structure. So what they would do is they take the bottles and they like cut the bottoms, I think, or a significant portion of the bottom out, and they like just stick each end to each other so that it was a never-ending bottom of bottle. It was a never-ending bottom bottle, and they'd stick each in the subsection of the wall, and then they'd plaster over it or some sort of molding over the bottle, and that would essentially allow light to cast through the bottle, and it would be different color bottles too, so the effect was really colorful, but the light would kind of go through each of the glass bottles and into the household, and it would create a really cool lighting effect. And it was insulated by whatever substance they were using to create their walls, because it wasn't like plaster and hardwood. It was something much more natural. I think it was, I want to say it was a mud clay hut, but I could not be 100% sure about that. But it was super cool. The problem with it is I don't think it's up to building code. So if I were to build something like that, it might get knocked down by the city because it's not up to code. Because things have to be up to code in city lines, I guess. For safety reasons or something. Ugh, how dare they? I wonder how you would get out of that, though. Like, how would you get out of having to be obligated to maintain a specific building code structure if you wanted to, if you really wanted to? Would you have to live in an unincorporated section of the city? Not of the city, but like in unincorporated areas in order to get away with that? I don't know. I'm not building a house right now. I've never built a house. I'm just brainstorming here. Brad Young says, it sounds like an excuse to drink a bunch of booze, but I need more bottles for my window, I swear. Yes, exactly. I can drink all of the wine that I want, sir. I am building a house. become ungovernable, build the pyramids. Well, to be fair, they are still standing after several thousands of years, so they got to be doing something right. If that's not building code, or up to building code, I don't know what the fuck is. Move so far away from the country, from the county, that you are nowhere near a heavily populated city. See, the problem with that is driving to get anywhere would be such a chore. It'd have to be a whole day trip for me to go anywhere to get anything if I needed it. Plus, I'd have to be kind of self-dependent, which I could totally do, but it takes a lot of money, a lot of upfront to handle the cost of that. You know, if you live so far away from society that you're dependent on only yourself and the land that you own and the people right there, you do have to kind of upfront that cost of quick and dirty food sources. So like chickens on a farm, or goats, or cows, or what have you, a vegetable garden. And so you have to create that up front. You can't just move and then not expect to have to, in some way, sustain yourself. So it's a lot of effort. I'm not there yet. Plus, my job requires that I actually come into the plant every day except for Wednesday right now. So if I'm driving like 3 hours to get to work, and I'm driving 3 hours to get back from work, that doesn't leave a lot of time for me to do literally anything else. I would die. Someday, though. I think some of you were getting the idea of me living in a hobbit hole, and I would like to dissuade everyone from the notion of me living in any such dwelling, because 1, I'm not a hobbit, I'm taller than a hobbit, and 2, my feet are not as hairy as a hobbit's. So thank you, kindly. The only benefit of living in the country is not being at the whims of neighbors. Aside from that, you're basically making life harder. In some respects, sure. I know that a boyfriend would love to live off the grid, essentially, but it would be impractical from a point of, like, for instance, can we guarantee that we would actually have connection to anything? Right now, our phone cell provider doesn't really cover areas that are more rural that we go to often. So we'd have to switch phone carriers. That's just one thing. Internet, that's another thing. He likes to game. I like to stream. How would we be able to handle that without really killer internet connection? And how would we get that out in the middle of fucking nowhere without, I don't know, fiber optics? And then there's the effort of actually laying those cables. Again, costly, probably. I don't know. I haven't looked into it, but I'm assuming it's a little bit more financially required than I'd like it to be. I don't know. There are different ways to live. There are different lifestyles. Definitely worth looking into. I don't know if I'd settle into one like that, though. Like, okay. Speaking of house construction, you guys seen the tiny house movement? So basically, they get a whole bunch of. So, okay, I'm pretty sure it's a subset of the minimalist movement, or it's adjacent to the minimalist movement, which is essentially just mitigate the amount of stuff that you have. Because we as people, for whatever reason, we're super sentimental and we collect everything. Anything that has the vaguest of sentiment to us, we keep it. We hold on to it. Anything that might have the vaguest of utility to us, keep that bitch. We hoard incessantly. And by we, I mean, generally speaking, hoard being a very aggressive term for what I am trying to get at is we don't like to let go of our things. Once we have them, it's a process to get rid of them, throw them out. Unless it's like trash, something a lot of people can justify holding on to things that they otherwise wouldn't have if they weren't somewhat attached to it. Like, I have this whole collection of magazines I get like monthly, and I have yet to read any of them. I don't know why they keep getting delivered. It was a free subscription for like 12 months. I have them. I've kept them, thinking, oh, yes, some point I'm going to read all of these things because it'll look super sophisticated. And also, it's Wine Enthusiast. That's the magazine. And I'd like to be more enthusiastic about wine. But I haven't found time to actually read any of the damn things. So I've just been keeping them in my closet, thinking that I will use them at a later date. Have I? No. Have I gotten rid of any of them? Also no. What am I going to do with them? I don't know, probably keep them around until I die. But I don't know what to do with them. Other than keep them. I probably should throw them out, or I could donate them. I don't know why, what entity would take them aside from maybe a library, but anyway. So the tiny house movement, they are adjacent to the minimalistic movement. And the concept is to create a tiny house of X by Y square footage and live in there and have everything that they need in there. And that's that. And some of them are on wheels too. Some of them not. But the intention behind them is to essentially force you to live more minimalistically. At least that's what I've gathered from it. The goal is to simplify everything, because the less that you have to maintain, the more simplistic it is. That's the long and short of it. Honestly, the less that you have to fuck with, simpler your life gets. And I can relate to that. I get it. I've been slowly trying to declutter this apartment, because I came into this apartment with a lot of crap, and our boyfriend came into it with a lot of crap too. And we have a lot of things. My shelf is Exhibit A, my shelf of things. I have a lot of things that I do not feel inclined to part with at this time. And so what can you do but either store them or display them? So I think that is the imperative of the movement, the tiny house movement. But essentially, it's super cool the way that they do some of this stuff. It's living minimalistically, only having the things that you absolutely need to survive, to sustain yourself, and to be happy. Anything else? Bye-bye. And they create these tiny little dwellings with all of these cool little storage nooks and crannies and apparatuses that make living in the tiny aspects super easy and convenient for them. So they'll have, a lot of them will have composting toilets. I think that's what they're called, composting toilets. Where essentially it separates the number one from the number two. And I'm not quite sure exactly what happens after that, but it's a process, I believe, that involves composting of some nature. I think I've also heard of houses that have like sawdust in them as well. I think I might be mixing up two different aspects of the tiny house movement, or just nature living. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check my facts on that. But there are people that use the toilet splitter thing that I talked about, and then they also use sawdust as well, or alternatively they use sawdust. It's a whole thing. They have washer dryer combined for washing and drying clothes. Tiny little sinks, tiny little kitchens in the living rooms. And then some of these people, they it's like single bedroom, tiny little bathroom. Some of these people actually work from home, so they have their office in there as well. It's super nuts. I'm not kidding. I don't know how people do it. Nuke the CCP says, if you want to be completely dependent on others, then a tiny home is for you. For me, I need my tools. I agree with that. I don't enjoy the idea of not having things that I might need. So that is like, I have a closet full of tools right now. A socket wrench screwdriver set that one of you guys actually gifted me a couple years ago that I've been using ever since I got it. We just got a power drill and a whole bunch of other odds and ends and tidbits and such that we keep in that closet, along with, like spare bags and bottles that I might use at a later point in time for XYZ thing, or extras of whatever product it is that we need. So shampoo, conditioner, body wash, etc. It's also got linens in it and such, because like if you only have the one set of linens and it's laundry day, what the fuck are you gonna do? It takes a little bit of foresight. Then we have everything in the kitchen. I mean, there are some things that I could do without that I don't need, and I could just borrow from someone if I ever actually needed it. But tools are kind of a big one to have. If you want, like, if you need the thing, you gotta have the thing, because it's helpful to you to have the thing. What else? Oh, the big TV. We could not live without that. It is very nice because we are both very vision impaired, as you can probably tell by the glasses. The cats, they need a plane to roam and nap and scratch and harass me for food. So there's that. The big bed, because we both like to hog bed. So it's very important that we get big bed. All of the comics that we have, all of El Boyfriendo's video games, my book collection. Like, because I read that shit. And I read that shit. And he might play that shit. Or he has played that shit. Ooh, crockpots can go solar. Crockpots are a lifesaver. I actually made dinner in a crockpot today. It was, it was chili, but it wasn't my normal kind of chili because I didn't have all the ingredients, so I kind of skimped down on, like, the Italian sausage. Because I'm not allowed to put that in the food that I'm making. Because, like I said, I'm on a little bit of a challenge. I can only eat the things on the list. And I couldn't put any beer in there because, obviously, that's not on the list. A boyfriend was laughing at me. Aww. Hey, babe. Babe! Look, I told you. Meowschwitz. Look. I told you she likes to sleep there.
My little dragon.
Yeah. What?
My little dragon.
Oh, yes. Sorry, I got distracted by something cute sleeping on a bed.
She is the terror.
She is adorable right now. I'm so glad we got them those cat beds. I haven't seen Valentine use it yet. Joyce of Sorrow asked me if I make 1 or 2 meat chili. I make 2 meat chili, so it's ground beef and Italian sausage. Hi, Polly.
Oh.
You missed our whole discussion about tiny houses and minimalist lifestyles.
I have thoughts about tiny houses.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Indulge us, would you?
I like them.
You
I
like
would like a tiny house in, like, the corner of, like, a property where I'm like, I'm gonna go stay in the tiny house this weekend.
Oh, you mean like your on-premises garden house, or like in-law suite, or
that sort of thing.
The servants' quarters.
In-law suite. There's no fucking way I'd let my in-laws stay there.
You don't have in-laws.
No, but it's possible, Weebo.
I know, of course. I'm not saying that it isn't. I'm just saying you don't have in-laws right now. So how can you know that you wouldn't want your in-laws to stay on premises right now?
Hold on, I'm trying to bring up my Thanksgiving order. There he is.
You don't. That's right. You might like your in-laws enough to have them on your premises.
I doubt it.
All the time. It's called a shed, Polly. No, but it would be cool to have, like, a tiny house away from house.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like on the property. Like, If you had the property, I'd definitely rather spend the money on the property than a fucking mini mansion. I know people always talk about their mini mansions. I want the land.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Having land to do with what you please is really nice. And enough of it to be like, you're trespassing just by knowing that this thing on my land exists. That's nice.
Yes.
Like, we were talking about building codes and shit. And I'm like, some of these houses that I've seen probably wouldn't be buildable because simply of the fact that it's against regulation. But if you have enough land and you build it in a strategic place on the land, how would they ever fucking know without trespassing?
Well, and you know what the worst thing is about building codes?
Hmm.
You can't use area effect weapons to protect it.
To protect your building?
Yeah. So if you got a tiny house over, like, on the far northeast corner of your property or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you want to go out, like, hoofing, like, grab the dog and grab your rifle and then, like, hoof it out over there. Hopefully it'll take a while because you got enough property to get over there. I'm going to go stay over there for the long weekend in the tiny house.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be fun. I'll bring the dog. Bring your lady friend.
You're like, I don't want to talk to you, bitch, so you leave and you go to your tiny house.
But let's say you haven't been to your tiny house in, like, a month or two. You never know. It might happen, right? You can't put area effect weapons anywhere near that tiny house to protect it from squatters. No landmines, no mustard gas, nothing.
Do you even know how to make mustard gas?
Well, no. I mean, not per se, but I could produce some sort of noxious chemical, I'm sure, if I put my mind to it.
Probably, yes. But, like, okay, so is it that you just can't put landmines out there to protect the premises, or is it simply it's frowned upon?
No, it's actually illegal. Area effect weapons are kind of illegal.
Oh, okay.
Because
Gotcha.
they've got that key phrase to them: indiscriminate.
Oh no!
Yeah, so
discrimination was bad.
Well, yeah, it's just, you can't discriminate your targets. So you got somebody who I don't know. They walk on your land because they think they can because they work for the state and they're there to I don't know.
No, how is it
survey
discriminate? Your Honor, clearly it was not indiscriminate. I'm only targeting the people that shouldn't be on the land, and the people that know where these things are and would have been able to avoid them are allowed on the land, and therefore this is not a matter of indiscrimination. Boom. Lawyered.
Yeah, caltrops. You'd want to be careful with the dogs. You'd want to put like one of them. What are they called? Like the certain collar that when the dog passes the certain point, it like buzzes the dog, and the dog's like, "No, I don't want to go there anymore. I get buzzed every time I go there."
Shock collar.
Well, shock collar, but
perimeter collar.
Yeah, perimeter collar. I'm not looking to shock the dog. I'm just looking to dissuade the dog.
That's what we did with Daphne, actually, because she's free leashing it nowadays. But when we were first training her to not, because we have a very large property, and leashing her would just be ridiculous on the very large property. And so she free leashed it, and we had to bring her to where the electric fence is around the property because they installed it all around the entirety of the property. And you had to bring her close, and like within a 5-foot radius of the actual line, it started to beep. And then you bring her closer, and it delivers a very mild shock to the dog. And she was very sensitive, so it was very effective because she really didn't like it. But it's a very mild shock. Like, I felt it. It's not that bad. It's just very, you have too much caffeine and it's electrifying. And so she's very good about staying within the boundaries of the property, even though it's been 6 years since we've actually had the collar on her, because she just knows where the boundary line is and she sticks to it. It's very effective. Very, very effective. Before we continue, thank you, Okie Native, for the donation. Poland Albert Dryden on the land. Is that a reference to something? I'm not familiar with it.
Nor am I.
Okay. Explain, please.
Let's just look up Mr. Albert Dryden. The murderer of Harry Collinson. Oh.
Murder most foul. I do enjoy a good tale. Indulge. By the way, guys, ladies and gentlemen, Polydub's Streamlabs link is located in the description. If you feel so inclined to donate to the otter, please locate his link down below.
You want to hear? Okay, so here it is.
Yeah.
Let's get my breath in here. The murder of Harry Collinson, planning officer of the Justice Council, took place on January 1991 in some place in England. At the time of the murder, the Something Council was involved in a dispute with Albert Dryden over the erection of a dwelling by Dryden in the countryside without planning permission. At approximately...
Sorry.
Yes. He ejaculated with anger. At approximately 9 a.m. on June 20th, 1991, a television news crew filmed Dryden armed with a handgun, a 455 Webley Mark 6 revolver, at Collinson and shot him dead. As the journalists and council staff fled, Dryden opened fire again, wounding television reporter Tony Belmont and police constable Stephen Gamble. The standoff that followed as armed police officers who had been on standby for the incident at nearby place raced to the scene, and Dryden retreated to a caravan on the property. Dryden warned them that the buildings were booby-trapped with explosives, that he had planted landmines in the ground around the property, and had a cache of hand grenades inside the caravan. At approximately 11:20 a.m., police officers offered to install a field telephone to enable them to better communicate with him. Dryden came out of the caravan to the perimeter fence to watch them, and realizing, wow, you can tell this was written by a Brit. It was spelled with an S. Realizing that Dryden's holster was empty, tactical firearms officer John Taylor immediately wrestled him to the ground. Assisted by PCs, Chris Berber, whatever a PC is. You're not supposed to write in acronyms if you haven't already. Anyway, Guy, and other Guy were able to subdue Dryden, and he was taken into police custody. Dryden was tried in Newcastle upon Place at this certain time a year or so later, found guilty of Colston's murder, attempted murder of council solicitor Michael Durdston, who he had been apparently aiming for when he shot at the group, and wounding of a reporter and a police officer. Dryden was sentenced to 2 terms of life imprisonment and 2 terms of 7 years imprisonment to run concurrently.
Yeah, this was an Absolute Mad Lads video, and I have actually watched it. So as soon as you started telling the story, I remembered that I'd seen this episode of Absolute Mad Lads. You ever watch one of those by Dankula?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you ever see this one?
No.
No. But yeah, I recall. Protect your property, except not too aggressively, because this might happen. Remember the good old days when you could just, yeet anyone you wanted who was trespassing on your land because you had that right? Now you don't have that right?
When was that?
Back during yonder old years where there wasn't a whole lot west of the Mississippi. But manifest destiny in the red man.
It's okay.
Back when dueling was a thing. Good old days.
So, Weebo.
Yes.
You were in chat late last night, later than anyone expected you to be there in Discord.
Indeed, I was.
Working on stuff and things.
Yes,
and a question was asked, but I figured that you weren't of the most lucid, cognizant mindset at the time, so I directed the question to someone else. But now that you're of a more lucid, cognizant mind, I'm assuming at this point, I'm going to ask you the question. Very well done eye makeup, by the way, today.
Thank you. It takes a very lucid mind to be able to put this kind of eyeliner on.
Well,
So,
I only noticed whilst you were staring down at your mug, and I'm like, oh, wow, she really evenly shaded today. Very nice.
Mm-hmm. Wait, hold on. As opposed to every other day when I don't evenly shade.
Well, symmetry is important, Weebo.
Indeed, it is.
I was talking about Blade Runner.
Mm-hmm.
and I was describing it as the kind of movie that I watched it with Zelthor, and it was the first time he had ever seen it, and more importantly, seen the imagery from it. And I'm kind of like laying out to him, like, this is cyber noir. This is the origin of the look of it. This is the origin of Ghost in the Shell. This is half of all Neo Tokyo cyber noir, cyber anime, cyber tech anime is, I mean, Ghost in the Shell just is Blade Runner. I'm sorry, it is. With, you know, the Japanese are not short of ideas when it comes to storytelling. It's a riff off of it. I'm not trying to claim it's a rip off. It's a riff off of the particular type of dystopian future that's going on there, and a very creative one. I'm a fan of Ghost in the Shell. Anyway, the way that it looks and so on and so forth became very, very influential. And I'm saying, see, this is the first time you see this, and this is the first time you see this. And Zelthor thought it was all very interesting. And I said, see, this kind of movie, the story is there and it's important, but it's a movie that if you're a super fan like I am, you can always put on, because it's as much about the mood and the look and the vibe as it is about the particular plot and narrative that's occurring. Right? Are there any movies of that sort for you, where you just like to escape to said place, or not even escape to it, like you want to go there, it's just for one reason or another? And somebody mentioned Alien, and I'm like, yeah, that is a very lived in world, like original 1979 Alien. Like, yeah, it absolutely seems like they're space truckers. It's very lived in world, great world creating. Is there any movie like that for you that you would watch over and over again because it creates such a realistic place?
Because it creates a realistic place.
I would have figured everyone would have said Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
Yeah.
Now that you said something, because I was like, Harry Potter, but not like, it's not far back enough in time for me, I think. So what can I call? Yeah, Lord of the Rings would be it. Narnia also was very good, like
Narnia, okay.
Indulgent into that kind of escapism mindset.
Just a cool environment.
First off, the music was great. So can you just imagine the ambiance of actually being in the place itself?
I can see that being a movie you'd want to listen to over and over again if there was good ambient music as well as good themes and cues and stuff, because then it becomes part of the thing. I can see that, sure.
The music for that series, or for at least the first movie, I'm not as fond of the following movies as I am of the first movie. The first movie was very profound for me. I kept watching it over and over again because it gave me the spine tinglies. If you know, like the chill up and down your spine when you're like, oh, this is good. Chiefly because of the ambiance that it created musically wise, and the cinematic epicness that it brought to the table when I was viewing it. Lord of the Rings is also one of those series that I could just watch over and over again and never get bored. And I probably would if I didn't have so many different obligations with the rest of my life. But the soundtrack is also really nice for the Lord of the Rings series. If you ever have a chance to just, like, I know you're into ambiance, right?
Sure.
Lord of the Rings, Ambient World, that YouTube channel has an entire Lord of the Rings soundtrack selection that they put to whatever ambiance you want. Like, there's an entire Hobbit 3-hour long track that I have listened to ad nauseum, and I know this doesn't go far in convincing the audience that I'm not a Hobbit because I'm saying that I listen to the Hobbit soundtrack over and over again. But we're just gonna ignore
I got to meet Howard Shore, actually.
Really?
Mm-hmm. A friend of mine was he was speaking. He was doing a degree in fine arts, and Howard Shore was speaking at one of his classes, and it was like sort of like guest lecturer for a class in composing and a composition class.
Yeah.
He was in town for whatever the fuck, and it was in one of those big Coliseum rooms. I don't know, with the stadium style seating. And he's like, man, there's more than enough room if you want to come by. I'm like, hell yeah, I want to hear Howard Shore talk, because I'm big fan of film scores, right? So it's like, fuck yeah, I want to hear Howard Shore talk. He's a genius. And yeah, it was really, really interesting. A full fucking year to compose each film. He was talking about it, the team that he put together. He was one of the, I wanted it to be big. I knew how big it was going to be. And sitting down and talking to the director, he kept pushing me like, I'm not saying do your best work, but do your best work. That was one of his little
Do your
jokes.
fucking best here, Sonny
Yeah.
Biscuit.
Yeah, he's like, I want oh shit, what's the old composer's name? He did Casablanca amongst others.
I put the Shire remastered music and ambiance track in the chat, so if you feel so inclined to look into it, by all means. I also put Ambient World's YouTube channel link in the chat as well, because I cannot emphasize enough how much I love that channel. Max Steiner.
If you listen to if you're watching Casablanca and you listen to the sort of ambient music that's happening, the score music that's happening, you hear the romance theme, a couple of chords from it come in and then echo back out, like, you know, that sort of thing. It's not that there's a cue for this person and then a cue for that person and then the action scene, there's this, there's that. Like, it's all actually blended together to create like an overall effect. So when Rick looks at Ilsa, you hear a few strings of the melody of the romance theme, which is, you know, As Time Goes By, famously. Mm-hmm. So you'll hear a few notes from As Time Goes By, which is a very clever way of putting it together. That is what Howard Shore was saying. The director wanted him to do, is because I want you to, I want it to be all laced together, that it can be listened to as one big thing, that when a hobbit talks, that, you know, a little bit of the Shire theme will be heard, a little bit of this will be heard. And it's like, that's asking a lot, you know what I mean? And he went in and said, yeah, and it took a full year for each one. He goes, that is all I did. I cleared my schedule, and that was that was the only thing I worked on for a full year, was all of the compositions for each film, one at a time.
And it shows.
Yeah.
It really shows, because it holds up very well as a track. Is a soundtrack now. I love listening to it. It's fantastic. And movie scores, you know, it's not sophisticated to listen to movie scores compared to like operas, like my grandmother does, or musicals, like show tunes silly people do. Mm-hmm. It used to be one of them. But or like whole on rhapsodies and in D minor concertos by Vivaldi or what have you. Like, it's not as sophisticated as that. But it's like, I think, personally, it has more meaning. It has more significance, because we're familiar with the stories behind this. We're very, very familiar with the stories behind the soundtracks of the movie scores that we're listening to. And so it's more profound for us, because as you're listening to like the Shire theme, you can imagine yourself in the Shire. Or as you're listening to, I don't know, like Hedwig's theme, you can actually feel yourself in Harry Potter's world. Or as you're listening to the Jurassic Park soundtrack, you can actually feel yourself looking up at a dinosaur. It's significant. There are certain tones and intonations in music that put you in the mood for X, Y, or Z thing. And I think that a movie without music is not going to be definitely as successful as a movie with music, with a soundtrack, with something that gives it that extra level of feeling. It feels kind of bare without it. Not that I've seen a lot of movies without music, but I've seen a lot of movies that don't know how to use soundtracks as well as others. How about the Shrek soundtrack? Oh, fantastic. A brilliant...
You're a fan?
Oh, I love the movie. I love it so much. Are you not?
I've never seen it.
Polly! You've never seen Shrek?
No, none of them. As I understand, there's 3.
There's a few more than just 3 Shrek movies. I think there's like spin-off movies and other such nonsenses, but you've never seen Shrek.
Nope.
I am shooketh. And you know what? That's going on the list of things that I need to do with Polly. Make me watch the Shrek movie.
No, I've given up on that list.
You've given up on the list?
I've got 2 movies in the bank with you, but I've just given up on them. Like, your schedule's like,
You
call me up when you've retired. You know,
No, we can schedule something. Like, I literally watched.
Yeah, what are you doing next August, Weebo?
Oh, well, you see, not a whole lot at this moment. You've actually, I could pencil you in for something on the 24th
of August.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what day that is. What day of the week is that? No, we could schedule something. It's fine. Like, I spent all of the last month, every single Wednesday, watching a movie with people in the Discord, and then I watched an extra movie on Friday, V for Vendetta, with the people in the Discord, and that was fun. But yeah, if you want to watch a movie, I will make time for it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't sound super convinced. What can I do to convince you?
What was I going to look up?
How about next weekend?
Harry Gregson Williams did the score for Narnia. I've never heard it. Narnia, like separately. I've never listened to Narnia separately as a soundtrack, but Harry Gregson Williams he's fucking brilliant. He's done a number of scores that I've really, really liked. So,
so how about not next weekend, but the weekend of the 19th?
I don't plan that far ahead. Maybe, sure, why not?
Are you free the 20th? It's a Saturday. Are you free most Saturdays? Is that asking too much?
I really don't know what to tell you. Like, I just don't plan that far ahead.
All right, I'll pencil you in for 7, and then I'll remind you of it as we get closer.
Okay.
Holly movie night.
Like, I guess I could put it in my phone, like, and then it'll like beep and remind me a day before, and then the day of I'll be like, okay, so what do I got to do today? And I won't remember.
I'll just keep harassing you until the day of. That's what I've been doing with other such YouTubers who haven't gotten me their YouTube homework. Speaking of which.
Now, with that question asked about ambiance movies, is there a game that you have played and finished, but are more than happy to go back and do, like, not just like the side quests, but like to get like every coin or box or whatever, like do all the fucking things just because that environment is so slick, so cool that you're pleased to revisit it?
I really liked playing Skyrim. I haven't finished it in 5 years since I started playing it, but I really enjoyed it, and I could see myself going back and playing it over again. But to be quite honest, I've never actually finished a video game in my entire life. Like, straight up, that is not something that I have done. I have a very bad record of playing games because I get busy.
Is that some kind of gamer no?
What, not finishing games?
Yeah. I don't know. You're telling me this, and I'm like, I feel like you're confessing something, and I'm like, what's the problem? I don't know. Is that like some kind of gamer no?
Well, okay, so like I'm sitting directly diagonally from El Boyfriendo, who on frequent occasion finishes video games start to finish with all the little side quests and stuff, who has played, what is it, Mass Effect Andromeda like 6 times all the way through?
No, not Andromeda. 1, 2, and 3. I've played all of those all the way through at least a dozen times.
Yeah, so it's embarrassing for me to say that I've never finished a video game, to be sitting across from this master gamer over here who has finished almost every single game that he's ever played. I'm pretty sure. It's like, how did that happen? Could not have put two more dichotomous opinions on the matter of video games in the same room. So I am confessing something, and I feel like I'm a failure.
I have a couple of friends who said Breath of the Wild. In terms of environments they just like being in, to the point where they've gone back to do every little thing that you can do, even though it's like not necessary. I've kind of finished the main points of the game, but it looks so great and it's so fun to be there that they're pleased to go back and do it again and again, or not do it again, but just do more.
I mean, I heard good things about Breath of the Wild, but I never actually sat down and played it myself. Polly, you have to understand, I don't play a lot of video games unless I play it. Okay, so I'm the type of person that if I'm gonna play a video game, it's gotta be one of those video games with a lot to it. So not just story, and not just like multiplayer aspects, but I really liked Skyrim when I did play it because it was this big open world concept where I could do whatever the fuck I wanted, whenever the fuck I wanted. I didn't have to follow the storyline. I could just go and dick off with the Thieves Guild for 12 hours straight, and it was fun. It was great. I could go around and, collect shit from people that I pickpocketed for 8 hours at a time, and it was great. I could fill my house with all manner of stolen trinkets and things and up my alchemy capabilities, and it was great. I like Conan Exiles for the exact same reason, because I can build a house and just keep knocking it out and go on quests with people and, hammer at it for hours and hours and hours and not feel like I'm coming to the end of something. Because that's what I really don't like, is I don't like endings. I like the open world concept. I like not having to be directed in any certain direction by the game itself. If I have to follow a storyline, I'm not probably going to get to finish it, which is why I don't like it, because I don't have a lot of time to finish storylines. So if I can just dick around for 2 hours at a time without it, and have it be mindless, I'm good with that. Valheim, I think, was also another video game that I enjoyed, even though the graphics were shit. It was, I think that was intentional though. Valheim was fun because it was just one of those I can dick around and do whatever the fuck I please for hours kind of games. That was fun. But if there are missions that you have to go on or a trajectory that you have to follow and it's not super open world, I'm not as big a fan of it. I'll play them, but they're not my thing. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So what kind of video games are that for you?
Oh, none. I don't. I only say it because I just don't play. I'm not a gamer, so I don't really have games like that. I can tell you games that seem like they might be like that. Red Dead 2 is a pretty big, expansive world. I was really, really interested and really loved the look of LA Noire, but and watching a couple of Let's Plays, including Razorfist's Let's Play of it, or his Razorfist Arcade, which is just Let's Play on Friday nights. The detail of the world is incredible, and it's huge, like Los Angeles of the time. But there's nothing to do. His words. And as you go around, there's not a lot of NPCs to interact with. There's not a lot of side quests. There's not a lot of this or that or whatever the fuck. And it's as much as that game is referenced, as much as it's talked about, what happened? Did the studio go defunct? Did it get bought up? And why no DLC after DLC after DLC? Is that game is the thought of that game more popular than the game of itself? If you know what I mean, because there's lots of that's what people mean when they say a cult hit. The idea of the movie is more popular than the movie itself. Everyone's heard of Rocky Horror Picture Show. If you have actually watched that fucking thing,
I've seen it with the people in the Discord.
Well, but do you know what I mean though? When I reference that kind of idea, is that what's going on with LA Noire? I have no idea. You'd think that there would be lots more DLC to flesh out that world. That seems like the kind of place that I would like to hang around in, hunting down commie fucks.
Yeah. Bet you would.
Or the Western world of True Detective of Red Dead 2.
Mm-hmm.
Seems expansive and fun to hang around it, but I wouldn't know. I haven't played either.
I liked Rocky Horror for its oddness, but I don't know. It wasn't like it started off on a high note and then it just progressively kind of fell off, if that makes sense. Like their best scene was the first one or not the first one, but the one where we're introduced to oh god, what's his face? The drag dude. Oh god. Who plays the drag guy? Oh god.
I can't remember his
He's
name, but
also in Clue.
I know exactly who you mean. You know, he played Pennywise, and he was in The Shadow from 1997. Yes. He was the villain. Yeah, I know who
help.
you mean.
Assist. Oh god, and he's like
Tim Curry. There you go.
Tim Curry.
Eric got in there first with Tim Curry, and then Race right behind him. And then Daniel Fullman. Everyone knows Tim Curry but us, apparently. There we go.
Dr. Frankenfurter. Yes, it started off really nice with that intro of Dr. Frankenfurter, and then the rest of it is just kind of a progressive slope of So, good to watch it the first time. I don't think I'll be seeing it again.
Favorite musical of all time?
Oh, favorite musical, Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, that's a good one. Good call. Good call.
But I'm gonna get judged for this, and I know why. I only like the movie version with Gerard Butler. Because it's the only one I've actually seen, and I really like it.
You've never seen it live?
Mm-mm.
Do you want to?
I'd love to, but I've never had the opportunity. It would be a good time. Sweeney Todd is up there too. I liked Sweeney Todd. You ever seen Sweeney Todd?
No, I don't even know what it's about. I've just heard of it multiple times.
Demon Barber Fleet Street. Okay, that's going on the list. We're watching it too.
Okay.
Sound of Music was a good one too. Ever watch all 4 hours of The Sound of Music?
No, it's 4 hours.
I'm pretty sure the movie with Julie Andrews is like 4 hours at least. I'm pretty sure. Ooh, Moulin Rouge, also a good one. Strange and odd, but I like it for its oddities.
Would you consider animated features, be they Disney, though Disney's the obvious example, that are very musically laden to be musicals?
Disney theater?
Nope.
Oh, you mean Disney movies with a lot of music to them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd consider them musicals.
I mean, would Aladdin be a musical to you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
They count as musicals.
Okay. I'm just asking.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never seen Aladdin.
You never seen Aladdin?
No.
What Disney movies have you seen?
Robin Hood. I was a big fan of Robin Hood when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. I loved Robin Hood as a fox and Maid Marian. And
I mean, it made sense. Right?
Little, of course. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Best possible animal choice for Robin Hood to be a fox. Best of all possible choices. And Little John is the big old bear and, whatnot. King John is the cowardly lion and his snake advisor who was a snake. And it was great. Mm-hmm. It was great. I loved it. And The Great Mouse Detective. Those are the only two I've ever seen.
I was wrong. The Sound of Music is almost 3 hours, not quite 4. Ooh, Anastasia was a good one too. So, okay, I don't know if you're aware of this, but right, like at the height of Disney's 90s success, there were a whole bunch of other animation studios that were attempting to essentially do the Disney and hop on board that train and make some muns in the animation station way of movies. Mm-hmm. And one of those products of that era is, one of them is Fern Gully, but the other one, Fern Gully, which starred Robin Williams, which I'm a super big fan of, also a good movie. definitely check it out. It does count as a musical, but also Anastasia, which tells the story of the the Russian Tsar's daughter who supposedly survived the massacring of the royal family, Anastasia, and her journey finding her grandmother and having amnesia and the romance that ensued between her and the kitchen boy person. And I loved it as a kid. It was great. The soundtrack is awesome. Holds up today. The animation is a little bit sketchy, but I'm pretty sure it was like their first movie that they, as an animation house, were doing. I don't know for fact, but it was a good movie, and I like it, and I own it on DVD, and so I watch it every like Christmas or whatever. It's not a Christmas movie, but it brings back good jelly memories for me. It feels like a Christmas movie, you know? It's a good time.
Not enough Thanksgiving movies, damn it.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just saying.
Do you have like a backlog of Thanksgiving movies?
No one does. There's not enough to constitute a backlog.
Let me see.
And Thanksgiving don't count.
Thanksgiving movies. There is a list of 21 best Thanksgiving movies on Rotten Tomatoes.
Perhaps I was wrong.
Let's take a gander there, Polly.
A gander. I see what you did. I see what you did there.
I know. Okay, so we have Jim Henson's Turkey Hollow. The Emerson family heads to the more quaint town of... ow! I broke it. I'm just going to open it up in a new window. It's fine. Emerson family heads to the quaint town of Turkey Hollow to visit Aunt Cly. Tim and Annie quickly grow bored without the internet, and Sue try to track the hollowing hoodoo, an elusive monster that the locals dismiss as legend. That doesn't seem like a Thanksgiving movie, though. It's a 2015 movie. Audience score is like 42%.
Excuse me.
So I guess not super successful. Let's find one that's like super successful. You ever heard of The War at Home?
Seems vaguely familiar, but I'm going to just go ahead and say no.
Okay. The Myth of Fingerprints.
No, not at all.
The House of Yes.
No. Okay.
The
Some Lion Patriot just said, blast your hide, check your Streamlabs. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. I just got home and sat down, and I hadn't even taken my shoes off when I logged in. But I hear you. Next 6 minutes, thank you for the $2.42. I don't have anything profound to say today. I'm sure I'll have something more interesting to say next week. Oh, everything you say is interesting. Seriously, come on, it's fine. For now, I'll just give you a crisp high five. High five.
Crisp.
Take care, man. Y'all need to sub to Polly. He's a good dude, makes good content. Well, neither of those things are true, but I appreciate you lying on my behalf. Lion Patriot, thank you for the $5. Polly, are you still cleaning your ears with Q-tips? If so, I recommend buying a gadget called Q-Grips. Ooh. It uses a tried and true tech of Archimedes, which is a damn sight better than the black magic Far uses to clean her ears. The black magic is just what?
Black magic? What does she use to clean her ears?
Olive oil.
Apparently,
apparently is the thing. Like, not just her, lots of people do it. Lots and lots. You just put olive oil in your ear and it absorbs with the wax and then flows out. I don't know. I've never done it.
I'm looking this up.
Yeah. Travis Gardner, thank you for the $5. Jesus. Phosgene. Phosgene can be produced by exposing R134A refrigerant, can be purchased at auto parts stores, to oxyacetylene flame in Minecraft. I think he's discussing area effect weapons and recipes thereof. My God. And Michael Trudell, thank you for the very generous $20. Hi, Polly. What's up? Oh, downward spiral into depression and alcoholism, the usual. But thank you for the $20. Greatly appreciated.
Olive oil can soften hardened earwax and allow it to be removed from the ear more easily. It's important to know that olive oil does not dissolve earwax. A 2013 study followed people who placed a drop of olive oil in one ear every day for 24 weeks. Researchers found that the participants who had used olive oil daily developed more earwax in the treated ear than in the ear that was not treated. In fact, participants experienced 99.5% more earwax in the ear treated with olive oil than the other ear. However, spraying olive oil into the ear before a physician performed irrigation appeared to help remove the earwax more easily. Irrigation on your ear. Sounds interesting. In 2020, a review found that putting warm olive oil into the ear before doctor irrigation was effective in softening the wax before the procedure. Earwax or ear irrigation involves flushing the ear with warm water and sometimes removing excess wax by hand. It's important to note that many of the reviewed studies were very small and more research is required before it is safe to draw conclusions about using olive oil to treat earwax. Fancy that. I use Q-tips to clean my ears currently, and I'm probably hurting my ears more than I'm helping them.
This was Far's claim. But I can't tell her about that study. Someone else is going to have to. Remember, this is the girl that I recommended a movie to too many times, and then she swore a blood oath that she was never going to watch it for the rest of her life. So,
What movie was that?
The Departed.
Oh, really? Because that's actually a decent movie, though.
Yeah, it really is. But like I said,
it was annoying about it, but
yeah, well,
it's a silly reason not to do something. But I get it. Polly, how dare you annoy her to that degree?
Well,
no, you see, the best way to get someone to actually watch something is to sit down with them and watch the thing that you're recommending. In my experience.
See, as wise as that might sound, it's I've met some stubborn people in my time. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
it's Far one of them.
Far trumps all of them. She's on some next level shit. So it's just.
I won't tell. Apparently the best way to irrigate your ear is to buy an ear syringe and squirt some warm salt water in there. I know Q-tips can push earwax further into the ear, but I've been doing it since I could probably fit the Q-tip in my actual ear hole, and my parents were doing it at that point. So it's all I know. And I probably because I do it every time I shower. I'm probably not pushing anything down there because I've been doing it for so long.
Wouldn't you be deaf by this point? I don't know. I'm not an ear, nose, and throat doctor.
And I've never had my ears flushed, so I have no fucking clue. My old man uses a toothpick. No!
Damn.
You ever try earwax candles? Apparently, they don't.
No. What is that?
Okay, so you take this tube of cardboard and wax, and you stick it in your ear, and you cut a hole in a paper plate, and you stick it around the tube, so that it prevents what happens afterwards. So you light the tip of the earwax candle on fire, and then you just let it slowly descend to the point where the plate and the earwax candle meet, and you take it out. Supposedly it draws the wax out of your ear, but I don't think that's actually true, because I think it's just burning the wax in the candle and consolidating it all in the remainder of what's not been broken. I don't actually think it's drawing it out, but it feels interesting.
There's ear, nose, and throat specialists, isn't there? What's that thing? A neti bottle or whatever the fuck? You irrigate your nose. Can an ear pot? Neti pot? Can an ear, nose, and throat specialist recommend something that's not going to destroy our eardrums or create rumors that you're destroying your eardrums? Aren't these people supposed to be fucking experts?
I don't fucking know. I don't know at all. See, this way, actually, I have a really gross story if you want to hear it.
All right.
All right. So my dad, his girlfriend, and all of us were at the racetrack all during like July. And at the racetrack, you wear earplugs because it's loud as fuck. So my dad's girlfriend puts her earplug in her ear, and I guess she doesn't clean her ears because she put the earplug in the ear and it effectively pushed whatever earwax she had into her ear to the point where it felt like she had something in her ear, like a substantial something in her ear.
Mm-hmm.
And so she spent like the whole rest of the weekend, because it was like a 4-day affair, trying to get the fucker out of her ear because it's uncomfortable to feel like you got something in your ear.
Sure.
And so we get this nurse practitioner to come over because she was there on her vacation, and she brought like her nurse's equipment or whatever. I don't think she was a nurse practitioner, but she was something in the medical field. And she had this assortment of medical apparatuses that she brought with her because apparently people do that. And one of them was like a flusher for ears that you just put in the ear and you flush it with warm salt water. And she irrigated my dad's girlfriend's ear at the racetrack. And at one point, all this fucking shit just fell out. And I'm like, oh,
damn,
gross, but fascinating. Because it was kind of cool too. But it was super gross. But it was super interesting to see what came out of her head, you know?
To see what came out of her head.
Like, oh, there's a reason you don't listen. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry, that's mean. No, but it was gross, but cool.
See, I don't know. That makes me want to like visit like an ear, nose, and throat doctor and have him like flush my ears. Maybe I'll walk out with like the hearing of a canine. Like, oh my god, I just heard a mosquito cough. You know.
Yeah, you ever seen I heard a mosquito cough. Have you ever seen there are these like pencil cameras with light attachments on the ends that you can connect to your phone and just like dive into your ear and clean it with it? They have these, and I'm very tempted to get one because I don't know. I'd like to see what's inside my ear. Cuz I can't look at my own ear without a camera attachment. I need to see what's on the inside.
I mean, I don't know if there's anything like mock worthy about you saying you can't see inside your own ear. Well, yeah, it's fine.
I would like to someday.
You know what? To my knowledge, I've never seen an eardrum. I'm going to look up an eardrum right now.
Oh, I've seen the inside of a person's eardrum. Like,
oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know. It's gross, isn't it?
Well, not the state of people's unclean ears is gross. Yes. No, I wanted to see, like, I just typed into DuckDuckGo eardrum and then clicked on images, and it's like all diseased eardrums and shit. Like, oh, no, there's nothing wrong with a normal eardrum. It looks fine. Eardrum, SEM photograph by Steve. Yeah, a normal eardrum is fine to look at. Not, oh, God. Large perforation of an eardrum.
Ooh. Owie. Well,
like when people say that they have their eardrums blown out, like, you know, like poor vets and shit that got like, you know, too close to an IED or something like that. Like, I've got some dumbass noob questions. It doesn't grow back, does it?
I don't know. Does it?
I don't know. Like, this is I got some total ignorant questions. I have no idea. Like, does that mean like your hearing is absolutely fucked? Like you're deaf in that one ear? I don't know. I've just heard that phrase. My left eardrum was blown out, or both my eardrums are blown out. It's like, doesn't that mean you should be deaf? Or I just guess I don't understand these things well
enough. You can regrow the hairs, but I don't know if that's necessarily helpful. Because hearing is, I believe, twofold. Hearing loss is twofold. One is a processing issue. The other is actually a reception issue. I'm pretty sure. It's been a minute since I worked on my neuroscience shenanigans, but from what I recall, hearing is twofold. If you have hearing loss, it's either a reception issue or processing issue, and reception being like the things that are supposed to receive sound cannot receive the sound. And that's usually what people experience in terms of hearing loss. But if you just never had the ability to process sound, then you're deaf. You can encourage the eardrum to grow back together. I would assume so. That sounds like something that would be possible. But I believe you could also like overexpose your hearing to sounds, and to the point where it doesn't receive as well as it used to. Overstimulating. That's the word that I wanted to use. You know how adults talk in peanut cartoons? Yeah.
Right.
That's essentially what happens.
That sucks.
Eardrum looks kind of weird, actually. You know, like I'm looking at these pictures of eardrums that are normal, and I'm like, that looks like a fetus.
Well, when it's not diseased and full of pustules and shit, like what I was seeing. Holy fuck.
No, don't do that. I wonder what produces earwax. Now I'm curious. What produces earwax? Like, I know it's dirt. Generally speaking, I know that it's like a collection of dirt in your ear. But why is there such a collection of dirt in your ear that it's to the point where it gets gross? Oh, Marcin Johansson. It's your cells produce a substance. Paraffin. Ew. Okay, so it's not like boogers when you sniffle. It's like quite literally just something that you secrete as a person. Gross. But fascinating. I should have been a doctor. Would I have more free time if I was a doctor, you think?
No. Because right now you'd be in residency, and that doesn't equal free time, in my opinion.
Fair. Earwax is made partially of skin cells from the auditory or ear, the canal. Weird way to phrase that, but all right. The area contains
the canal.
I swear to God, that's what it says. Earwax is made partially of skin cells from the auditory or ear, the canal. That's how this was written. Go team. This area contains skin that is always renewing itself. As dead cells drop off, they are pulled in to produce earwax. Earwax also consists of secretions from two glands, specifically the cereminous and sebaceous glands. Ooh, delicious. Give me some of that.
Ugh.
All right. Shall we move away from this topic, Polly, or do you want to continue with
No, I'm fine.
Do you want to delve deeper into the ear canal?
No. Well, yeah, actually I do, because what's further inside the ear canal is actually halfway interesting. The cochlea, what have you, and the three little bones and whatnot and all that. Indeed. That's cool stuff. The gross shit happening on the outer side of the fucking eardrums. Apparently disgusting.
Yeah, it is kind of gross. But still super cool. Okay.
I forgot. What movie did you watch for Halloween?
For Halloween, like on Halloween night?
Or whatever the fuck.
Last couple of movies we watched. We watched Surrogates on Wednesday, per your suggestion.
Not very Halloween-y, but okay.
No, that was the third. But what we did watch, we didn't watch anything the 31st, but we watched something because the 31st was a Sunday, so we couldn't stay up late, and we were on cocktail hour. But we watched Amityville Horror the 27th.
Ooh, yeah.
per Cavalier who suggested it, and I enjoyed it. I don't think enough people died, however.
Oh.
Supposedly it was a true story, I guess. Not enough people died. And I get it. Without them being alive, we wouldn't be able to tell this story. But I still feel like more people needed to die for me to feel reasonably scared. You know?
Not really. What death count do you consider good enough for scarums?
Somewhere between 3 and 5. Like, there has to be a verifiable danger for our protagonists to be in order for me to feel like shit about go down. That's horror for me. I mean, I know it's different for other people, but that's what horror is for me. We also watched... What else? We watched Freddy vs. Jason earlier in the week. We watched... Oh, excuse me, I burped. I can't remember what we watched. Past that. Wow, so many memes, so little time. Oh, we watched Nightmare on Elm Street, and I can't remember what else we watched before that. I'm not going to look it up because I don't need to. But yeah, we watched a good number of scary movies during October, and I'm very happy about that because that's what I wanted to do with my time. And now that October is over, I feel like we can switch it off again between game night and movie night. So that's what we're going to do.
Nice.
So coming up, we watched Surrogates last week. Game night will be this Wednesday. So let me in the Discord playing like Conan or something. I don't know what. What should I play? I'll take suggestions.
Conan.
I should play Conan.
People seem to like it.
It is a good time, and multiple people can play it. And it's been a minute since I played it, so I need to finish off my castle in the trees because I'm making a gigantic. Or I'm making a castle in a gigantic like elf tree. Surrogates was an interesting but low-key movie. Polly, thank you for suggesting it, and I totally feel like we should have had more movie afterwards. Did I tell you how the ending should have been? Like, how I would have liked the ending to have been?
Yeah, just everyone dies.
No. That was my joke of an ending. But for realsies, it would have been more, I think, impactful if Bruce Willis had decided to yeet everyone's surrogate, like, no one died except for he yeeted everyone's surrogate, and as a result, his wife killed herself.
Oh shit!
Would that not have been more profound?
It would have been more tragic, yes.
Yeah, right. It would have hammered home the message of how unhealthy the lifestyle would have been, and how disruptive and dependent.
Yeah, you see all them pills she had in her room?
Yeah.
Damn.
Like, it would have hammered that point home of this is the danger of depending too much on your escapism. Which I think was the core message of the movie.
I thought the idea of like, much like Tron, where it's like Tron Legacy, where it's a world that you can enter and like the grid and be yourself, but you're not yourself. You also can be superpowered. You can be programmed, deprogrammed, reprogrammed, what have you. And there's digital enemies in there, and and it just looks hyper fucking cool. The fucking production design of Tron Legacy is fucking amazing, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. It's a lot like The Matrix, where again there's a real world and then a world you can enter where you can fight it out and do all of these things. Surrogates is like that, but there's no world you're escaping into. There's a world you're escaping out of. Mm-hmm. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. So
it's so well built. Like there's so much world building, like we were talking about in that movie. Like sequels. Like you could just it doesn't even need to have Bruce Willis in it. Like, there's just so much that can be done because it's such an interesting concept.
I like the idea of the world having become essentially this shell of itself, where it's populated entirely by a bunch of shells, essentially. You know what actually was really funny? The thing that I didn't find super believable about surrogates was the fact that the war, the training that they were having was like still foot soldier combat.
Yeah.
Like on the ground, they're fighting as surrogates. What is the point of that? It seems like instead of developing these training modules where you have a whole bunch of thank you, dear. You have a bunch of I just got moved. Again. You have a bunch of surrogates running around killing other surrogates. It feels like it would be more it would be better to develop those weapons like the cannon, the EMP cannon that they were using on the actual surrogates,
Right.
to decimate those populations, developing technologies like that, because that would be on the right track with the technology. Whereas you just have a bunch of surrogates going at it with each other, it's as useless as playing a video game. No offense, but it is. I mean, what real damage are you doing except for costing that country X amount of dollars in Surreys? Or developing long-range missile trajectory technology to be able to pinpoint populations from miles out, several hundred miles out. That was the part that kind of took me out of the movie, is like, this seems kind of counterintuitive. But other than that, that was my only criticism.
It's bedtime, Weebo.
I guess. You just got the knock on the door. The knock of death.
Yeah. The knock of you need to be up soon.
I should go to bed because I have to wake up at 4:20 in the morning.
All right, fair enough. And that is an early rise.
Early indeed. So, and we're at an hour and a half, so we're doing pretty good on time. Before we leave, though, Polly, is there anything that you would like to shill to the chat currently?
Human contact and going outside occasionally. It's a good
Touch
thing.
grass.
Yeah, touch grass. I don't do it, but you should.
You don't touch grass?
Don't end up like me, do you?
Based Otter in his pilgrim hat. Do you actually have a pilgrim's outfit? Because I feel like you wouldn't
No, I don't.
be the type to have one.
No, I
Should
don't.
we crowdfund Polly to get him a
Do I
pilgrim's
need a
outfit?
buckle hat?
I think you need a buckle hat. Can I get you a buckle hat?
Do you have a buckle hat? You're the hat lady.
I don't. You know what? I should make a buckle hat.
You could. I think it's more about finding the right shape of hat and then strapping and buckling it up yourself.
I can just make it from scratch. It's fine.
Yeah,
It's
or
fine.
that.
It just takes some,
A little bit of cardboard, a little bit of felt, some glue.
I could do that. I could do it.
Of course you could.
Yeah. Anyway, anything else that you would like to show, Polly? I know you have AAA this Wednesday and Monday and Friday, but I think Wednesday is the day that's on your channel.
It is. Wednesday is the day that it's on my channel.
I was right.
You were.
See, I never watch it on Wednesday. I only watch it after the fact because I download it and then I watch it at work. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't download that smut on your phone. Fuck.
Are you discouraging me from viewing your hard work?
I'm just saying, smut on your phone transported to work is probably not good for your employment.
Well, who's looking at my phone? That would be against my employment contract.
Oh, well, that's good news.
Yeah.
Let's just go through your phone and see what. Oh my God! This is.
Anyway, so is that really all that you got to?
Yep.
Show
What do you
to the
got
audience?
coming up there, Weebo?
I have 2 videos that I would like to hopefully get out at some point. I also I put a bounty on one of them. I said, "Oh, boyfriendo, if I don't have a video out by the end of the day, Wednesday, you can towel whip me again." That has yet to happen, by the way, but I feel like it might happen.
It's called a towel snap.
It's called a towel snap.
Yeah,
it really?
Damn right it is. A towel, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm more used to it being heard that way. Like I said, the first time you said towel whip, I was like, wait a minute, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, no, okay, so it's a towel snap. I've never called it that. It's always been towel whip because it's essentially like you're getting whipped with a towel. But anyway, so I have one about white women, and I have one along the lines of Kyle Rittenhouse coverage.
Ooh.
I don't know if I'm
Controversy
going to finish
ensuing.
both of them, but I'm definitely going to finish one of them.
Cool.
Because I have ideas for both. I have things to say for both. Other than that, just annoying people for the YouTube homework that I've assigned them. That's it. For
Okay.
the upcoming special that I am planning for Christmas that I am not going to tell everyone about yet because I don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. So we're just gonna say I'm doing something special for Christmas, and right now it's a big project. Hopefully it turns out well. Anyway, other than that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, lizard people and robot men of all ages, thank you so much for coming out this fine evening to enjoy the ramblings of myself and Polly's self. We deeply appreciate your patronage, your viewership, your commentary on our shenanigans. Without you, we would just be two dumb fucks in a Discord server talking to each other about literally anything and everything.
Yeah, here it's only half that.
Exactly. So, thank you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you next week. Same time, same place, same otter, same face. Have a good week, ladies and gentlemen. Bye.
See you later. Thank you, everybody.